So if you are searching for the best cheap electric scooter in 2021, I may have in this box the best solution for you. And I have another box with more stuff related with this scooter. If you want to know everything, stay tuned until the end of the video. Hi everyone, Marcus here from MADpack, and if you love EUCs, PVs and everything that have an E of electricity, this is the place for you. And today we are not in the normal room because this is too big to be there, and we are going to open it and see it a little bit closer, and I'll tell you why I think that this one is the best electric scooter that you have on the market if you are searching for something that is quite cheap, but is quite powerful, allowing you to go from point A to point B without a problem. And by the way, if you want to buy any electric scooter, you will be able to have a 5% discount. So feel free to use it. Let's open this box and see a little bit closer this electric scooter that they've done some improvements to make it even better than it was already the first generation. So we are talking about the Etwow GT, and this they have done some improvements to it, so you may have seen other videos about this one, older videos, but these have some improvements, and we'll talk about those ones and what they make it even better. So let's take out of the box and see a little bit closer. Like you could see, even inside the box, it's not heavy, so that is one of the biggest things that you have here. So if you are searching for something cheap and portable, definitely this one have, plus the kick that it can give to you. That's why I wanted to bring to you guys this electric scooter. Not every single one of you guys can purchase an expensive electric scooter or electric unicycle, and you want something cheap but good. I just opened the wrong side. We have all the manuals of the Etwow. The good thing, they are in English. Let's see this box here. Verification complete. It will charge quite fast. It's a 3 amp. It could be obviously faster. You have faster, but because of the size of the battery, it's quite quick to charge. You can charge this one less than 4 hours. You'll have it completely charged. You can do a good amount of mileage. We'll talk about it in a second, but let's see a little bit closer this one. If you guys want to see this box, we'll open in a second, so stay there and we'll come back to this one. So when you look to the e-scooter, as you can see, it's quite small, it's not really heavy. We are talking about 13 kilos, and it's smaller than the Xiaomi scooter, and also it's much more powerful. But we'll talk about that in a second. Looking to the materials, they look premium. It doesn't look cheap at all. You have many scooters, they look simply horrible. So when we talk about the locking mechanism, is much better than you have on the previous generation. One thing that I'm really scared about is scooters is the possibility that you will just close it by itself when you are riding. And when we talk about that, so imagine that you are riding and this is completely closed, the front wheel will just lift it up from the floor and your deck will hit the ground and definitely will just see you flying in front. But when we talk about the Etwow GT, you could have a much easier name to remember. You don't have only this mechanism that is quite strong, okay, but you have a second one that will just basically lock the bar here on the front, not allowing you to have this closing. And another thing that I really like about this new generation is that you don't have so much screws to just lock everything in place. If you look here on the back, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and after you have obviously your deck, 5, 6, and here you have 2 more screws. So you don't have a lot of screws going around on this electric scooter. So if you are concerned with the vibrations that your screws they get loose, is much better than in the previous generation. When we look to the handlebar, that is something that I'm not so much into it, because okay, they can completely release and stays in place, just pressing and they close, but in the same time they are quite narrow. So the good thing is when you have to pass by a place that is quite claustrophobic, if you want, you don't have a lot of space on the sides, that will be good when you are passing in a tunnel or something like that. But in the same time you have less stability because your arms are closer to each other, but also the other thing is you have the possibility to completely fold. And I have seen some guys saying that your hand brake will stays in the way when you try to close it, but it's not the case. As you can see, it stays completely in place. So when we talk about cable management, I have to say that I really like the cable management that you have in here. But one thing is this cable is a little bit long, as you can see. So if you push it all down, it can stay really close to your mudguard and your tire. I really like how everything is made. Besides that, I will will recommend you to disconnect all of this and put some heating shrink tubes. So in that way, you will have an extra layer on top of your connectors that will be better for waterproofing, but also it will be much harder to disconnect them, because I had that issue in the past with an electric skateboard. In that case, I completely lost the brakes, so it was not a very good experience. Another thing is the charging port, and this charging port is better than the previous generation and it stays quite in place. Another thing is the way that is built up and is designed is inside all this frame in metal, so definitely will be much harder to basically hit this with your feet and open it. So if you close it properly, it will not go anywhere. When you talk about your acceleration and braking, I have to say that looking to the electric e-scooter is definitely one of the parts that looks the cheapest that I felt outside of the box. One thing that really annoys me is, as you can see in here, you have all this plastic, plastic in red. I thought it was some lights, but they are not. If you wanted lights there, I don't really understand why they've done it, because they don't make any sense. I'll prefer that they are all in metal, because it will be more resistant, because if you hit with something in here, you are going to break the plastic. So something to have in consideration in there. When we talk about the deck, it's quite narrow. I can't fit my feet, but even if you try to put one in front of the other, it will not be the best solution. So something that you'll find much better on this one than on the previous generation is that now you continue to have the fender brake like you had on the previous one. You continue to have your regenerative braking system on your motors, but now you have also a dumb brake. So in that way you have 3 ways of braking. I really like to have a dumb brake on the front because I feel more insured, and this one is related with the back, so don't worry, it's not going to break the front one and basically throw you off. So it's just to point something. Obviously I need to ride it and test it out, but it's things out of the box that I can see in here. So something else just to point it out about cable management. If you have to put your handlebar a little bit higher, so on the second settings, that I have to say to you guys, I believe that majority of you will use in this way, the cable will not stay in the way of the tire. So just to point it out, is much harder that the cable will reach there. And if I'm so small and I need to open it, I don't think that you will have any issues with it. Another thing is this amazing bell that you have. It's quite loud and I think people will be able to see you. And also you have the front light. So when we look to the screen, I believe that this screen is not going to be very visible when you are riding during the day. It doesn't look really bright. It shows you the amount of battery that you have, how fast you are going, and obviously the temperature of your e-scooter, and also the amount of mileage that you've done. Another thing that I want just to point it out is that now you have a kickstand. So definitely a plus, but in the place that it is, I think it's going to be a little bit hard to just pull it out of the way. So just to point it out that maybe that will be a problem. It's much better than the previous generation because you didn't have one. So don't forget that in a bit I'll show you what is inside the other box that is here in front of me. But when we talk about the tires, I have to say to you guys that I'm not a big fan of this type of tires. So these are airless tires. The disadvantage of it is they are less grippy when the floor is slightly wet, and also you will not have the best comfort in the world, but that comfort will be basically balanced with the suspension that you have on the front and the suspension that you have on the back. Another thing that I really like is the size of the mudguards. The size of this mudguard is really good. There is a lot of e-scooters that the mudguard is too small. So also something that I wanted to point it out. This scooter, even if it's so small, I believe is going to be very powerful to go uphill because you have 48 volts, and it's something that is not normal in a so small electric scooter. You will not have any issues to go uphill with this one. Another thing is obviously talking about the range, and they say 20 miles. I never trust that because, for experience, after testing so many electric unicycles, electric scooters, never ride. They always say that in a very optimal situation, but we ride always fast, and also I'm not controlling if I'm going in a flat surface or if I'm going uphill, so I'm going to give you a more realistic range when we'll do the full review of this one. Another thing that you have also new on this new generation of the Etwow GT 2020 is the possibility to connect with your phone. Yes, now you have an app that will allow you to connect your e-scooter to your phone. So to connect your Etwow to your phone is very simple. You just have to put your email, they send you a code, and you'll connect with your e-scooter. The phone is on the app. Let's just search enabled location, otherwise it will not work. It's searching, and he already found. Pair to the device, yes, and it's connected. So when we look to the app, I have to say to you guys that works really well. It's something that is not really normal in PEVs. Many PEVs, I guarantee to you guys that they work really bad. Let's just look to the app of Gotway. It's simply horrible. But when we talk about this one, it works quite well. You can control the lights and you can see I press 1 1 1 1 1. Is really responsive. I don't see really the point because I have that control on the handlebar, but it's just to point it out. You can control here the 0 start, so if you have to kick on the floor or not your e-scooter to start, so you can also change in here, and you can lock your e-scooter. It's not really something that I'll be using often because definitely I have to say to you guys that I'm always concerned about leaving my PEVs somewhere that I can just have a look on it. So just to point it out, just to let you know, when you flip up, you can decide what is the speed limit. If you want 6 kilometers, 20 kilometers, 25 kilometers, or no limit. And this one will go up to 40 kilometers per hour. And like I said, for a so small electric scooter, it's a blast that you can have in a so portable situation. So if you live in an apartment, if you live in a city like London, this is definitely, in my opinion, one of the best cheap electric scooters in 2021. So guys, let's see now what we have inside this other box that Pat sent to me. That is the accessories for this electric scooter, the Etwow GT. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, thank you so much. They sent to me a hat, a t-shirt. So they sent me a Etwow bag. They have some cushions on the inside. This is basically, obviously, to carry around your e-scooter if you need to go upstairs quite often. Besides that, everything is 5% off, even if you purchase the scooter or the accessories. And this one is the bag that you obviously can put inside your e-scooter. And the other thing is you have some wheels here. I believe it's some lights. So they sent me some lights, and the other accessory is basically also to put it on your e-scooter and to help you to lift it up. Another thing that is in there I can't show in this one because that is an offer for another electric scooter that I will bring to the channel. So definitely, if you like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, comment below, smash the thumbs up, do whatever you want, but always with a smile on your face, and I hope to see you in the next one.